Romelu Lukaku is one of those football players who's been turned into memes in the last few years. His reputation's taken a huge hit, and it now seems like nobody respects him, not the fans, players, or the media. And Euro 2024 did not make things any better for him. Many fans and media outlets included him in their worst 11 of Euro 2024 due to his bad performances in his 4 games of the tournament. He missed the second most big chances and failed to score a single goal all tournament. But guess what? He found the back of the net 3 times at Euro 2024, but the goal was ruled out each time. In Belgium's opening game of the tournament against Slovakia, 2 of his goals were overturned, one for offside and another for an initial handball. That made him the first player in Euro's history to see 2 of his goals overturned by VAR in a single match. In that same game, he also missed 3 big chances, which made him the first player to miss that number of big chances in a single game at the Euros in 24 years. The game instantly made him an object of ridicule right at the beginning of the tournament. And the fact that he would go on to miss more big chances and see another one of his goals disallowed later in the same tournament didn't help his case at all. You see, when the opening game against Slovakia was played, statisticians had it on record that Romelu Lukaku had missed 6 big chances in his last 99 minutes of major international tournament football. 99 minutes, you know? That's a full game plus additional time, and he missed 6 big chances. Wow! And you know what else that stat revealed? That this poor form in front of goal didn't even start at Euro 2024. If you were around at the 2022 World Cup, you'd remember Lukaku also being the butt of all jokes. Despite playing just 3 games at that tournament, Lukaku was second for most big chances missed at the World Cup. Only 2 players missed 1 more chance than Lukaku in that tournament, and both Lautaro Martinez and Kylian Mbappe got to the final, while Lukaku went out in the group stage. Oh, and Mbappe ended up with the golden boot, Lautaro Martinez ended up with a winner's medal, while Lukaku ended up with no goal, no assist, 1 dribble completed, and thousands of memes of him littered all over the internet. That did not help his reputation at all. Lukaku was such a frustrated figure at the 2022 World Cup, and he showed that frustration by punching the glass in the dugout after his missed opportunities caused Belgium to bow out in the first round, despite being favourites to finish top of a group that had Morocco, Croatia and Canada. And the disrespect and mummification of Lukaku didn't even pause the World Cup. It carried on into the regular club football season. That year, he was on loan at Inter Milan, who got to the Champions League final for the first time in 13 years. Lukaku did not start that final against Manchester City. He came on in the second half for the injured Edin Dzeko, but he still managed to miss a big chance and even inadvertently blocked what could have been an equaliser for Inter Milan. And it was the same story in another European final 3 years earlier. Now, he did win a penalty and converted to put Inter Milan 1-0 up in the opening 5 minutes of the 2020 Europa final against Sevilla, but he wound up cancelling that out by scoring the own goal, which gave Sevilla the win and pretty much put the trophy in their hands. See, we could go on and on about Lukaku's big misses in big games, which have caused him to be disrespected by many. But isn't it just crazy how the former Everton man has this rep but can still lay claim to being one of the best strikers of his generation? His numbers and achievements back up that claim. His career took off at Everton. He was a Chelsea player, but he couldn't break into the first team, so he was loaned to West Brom, and then to Everton in 2013 when he was just 20 years old. He did so well during his loan spell at Everton that the club signed him permanently a year later for £28 million, which was a club record fee at the time. That's how highly rated he was. He would then go on to prove to be worth all that money, scoring 87 goals and providing 27 assists for Everton. 114 goal contributions in 166 appearances isn't a bad return for a young striker at all. He was named Everton Young Player of the Season and won the club's Goal of the Season award in 2016. Then, the following year, he was named Everton Player of the Season and was included in the PFA Team of the Year, after finishing with 31 goal contributions in 37 Premier League appearances that season. Unsurprisingly, these performances earned him a big move to Man United in 2017. The Red Devils paid £75 million for the Belgian, and it didn't seem crazy because Lukaku then was regarded as one of the best young strikers in world football. Evertonians were hurt that he left, so they turned on him, and it was at Man United that his rep began to take a big hit. But even there, he started very brilliantly. He scored on his competitive debut against Real Madrid in the UEFA Super Cup, and went on to score a brace on his Premier League debut with Manchester United, making him only the 4th player to ever achieve that feat. When he met Everton in the Premier League that season, he was booed almost throughout the game, which caused him to cup his ears to the Everton fans after he scored for Man United. He would end up scoring 10 goals in his first 9 appearances for Manchester United, which was statistically a better start than Bobby Charlton had when he scored 9 in his first 9 appearances for the club. Lukaku was already a record breaker after 9 games. What better way to start your career at a club like United, right? He ended that season with 36 goal contributions in 51 appearances in all competitions, which of course is not a bad return in your first season at a big club. In that same season, he reached 200 career goals for club and country and 100 Premier League goals, becoming the 5th youngest player to reach a century of goals in the league. It was not a bad debut season at all, but his second year, it was something of a disaster. He started the 2018-19 season with an impressive 4 goals in his first 5 appearances, but what followed was a period of 12 games without a single goal and many big chances missed in between. And things only got worse for him when Mourinho got sacked and replaced with Ole. Ole left him out of the squad in his first 2 games in charge and only introduced him off the bench in the next 2. He scored from the bench in those games, but that did nothing to sway Ole. He preferred to use Rashford up front, and he stuck with that. In the next 9 games, Lukaku played a full 90 minutes on just 2 occasions. He didn't score in any of them. He ended that season with just 18 goal contributions in 45 appearances in all competitions, and the fans turned on him. They scapegoated him, mocked him, and even bullied him by calling him fat and overweight. They campaigned for him to leave the club with immediate effect, and that he did. In the summer of 2019, Inter Milan came for Lukaku, and Manchester United wasted no time accepting their generous €80 million offer. After he joined Inter, Lukaku revealed that he left United because the club failed to protect him, and because he, along with Pogba and Sanchez, were often made scapegoats. Anyway, Lukaku had an amazing start to life at Inter. He didn't just score in his first game for Inter, but he scored with his first shot for the club. He formed a formidable strike partnership with Lautaro Martinez, dubbed Lula by the Italian media, and together they tore Serie A apart. Lukaku ended his first season with 40 goals in 51 appearances, and even though he scored an own goal which lost Inter Milan the Europa League final, it was still dubbed a good season for the Belgium, and he had the faith and support of the Inter fans. With that faith and support, Lukaku would go on to have his best individual season to date. In the 2020-21 season, he recorded 40 goal contributions in 44 appearances in all competitions, and helped Inter win the Scudetto. He was also named Serie A Footballer of the Year and Serie A MVP, and earned himself a Ballon d'Or nomination. Following that incredible season, Lukaku became one of the most sought-after strikers on the continent, and was heavily targeted by some big clubs, including then European champions Chelsea, who decided to bring their boy back home. Inter were not exactly very excited, as they wanted to keep him, and they felt he owed them that because they practically saved him from his horrible time at United. But Lukaku didn't care about all that, and he insisted on leaving just 2 seasons after he joined. So, as far as the Inter Milan fans were concerned, he was leaving for the money, and they felt betrayed. Anyway, Chelsea paid £97.5 million to get him, and that was a club record fee at the time. What this meant was that Lukaku became the most expensive footballer in history, going by cumulative transfer fees at the time. So, you see, Lukaku was very respected and highly rated by clubs, fans, and the media just a few years back. I mean, why else would clubs pay about £300 million in transfer fees for a player who isn't rated? Yes, he often misses big chances and takes touches so badly that fans have joked that he plays like he has Timberlands on. But the disrespect Lukaku gets is not only because of that. I mean, this guy's international career is up there with some true greats of the sport. He's Belgium's all-time top scorer, and he scored more international goals than Pelé. At the 2018 World Cup, he finished with the bronze boot, and during that tournament, he became the first player since Diego Maradona to score 2 or more goals in back-to-back World Cup games. He's the record scorer in a single Euro qualifying campaign, after he scored 14 goals in 8 Euro 2024 qualifying games. A man who's had a career like this is surely one deserving of respect. This is why we say his disrespect goes beyond his big misses on the pitch. It's also down to his antics off the pitch. Even the best strikers in the world miss big chances. Erling Haaland has missed the most big chances in the Premier League for 2 seasons now, but he doesn't get the same kind of mockery that Lukaku does. Fernando Torres missed some really big chances while he was at Chelsea, but he's still respected by the footballing world. So, that's why we say that his antics off the pitch have added to the disrespect Lukaku gets. And what do we mean by his off-the-pitch antics? So, remember when shortly after Chelsea broke the bank for him in 2021, an interview dropped where Lukaku said he was not happy with the situation at Chelsea and that he would want to return to Inter shortly. This interview dropped just 4 months after his big money signing, and it instantly caused him to lose the faith of the coach and the support of the fans, and everyone just knew that there was no way back for him at the club. So, he returned to Inter Milan on loan the following year, which was when he missed those chances in the Champions League final, which cost Inter the game and the trophy. But if that wasn't enough, Lukaku went to negotiate with Juventus that summer. Bear in mind that this happened not long after he said Inter Milan was everything to him, and that he would like to remain at Inter Milan permanently. So, when it came to light that he was flirting with the old lady, both Juventus and Inter Milan fans were mad at Lukaku. Remember that he was trying to repair his relationship with the Inter supporters who weren't exactly happy with him after his move to Chelsea, but this just made him irredeemable. This same guy who swore that he would not even listen to offers from Juventus and Milan if they ever came, because of his loyalty to Inter, turned around to flirt with Juventus less than 7 months after that infamous interview dropped. With that, he lost the support of Inter Milan fans, and the Juventus fans who never really cared about him in the first place now had reason to not like him. He would end up reuniting with Jose Mourinho at AS Roma on another loan spell, but following Mourinho's exit, they decided not to keep him. What this means is that Lukaku doesn't have any fan base that'll go to war for him. He had a good spell at Everton, but after the way he left and how he cupped his ears at them when he was at United, they don't care about him anymore. He also had a good spell at Inter, but after he left them for money and then went on to flirt with their rivals, he's now a villain in the club story. And of course, Man United and Chelsea fans do not even want him near their club. Lukaku showed no loyalty everywhere he's been, and that's caused him to lose the respect of some of the biggest fan bases in the world. And there's one more reason nobody respects Lukaku. It's because in recent times, he's folded when the lights were brightest. I mean, Lukaku currently has 394 career goals, and you'd say that's very respectable, isn't it? Alan Shearer retired with 393 goals. Didier Drogba and Wayne Rooney retired with 366. Michael Owen with 263, Ian Wright 239. And every one of these guys is well respected today. Maybe not Owen due to his commentary blunders, but as a player and Ballon d'Or winner, definitely. But Lukaku, who already has more career goals than every one of these guys at just 31 years of age, is disrespected. Why? Well, like we said, he's folded on the biggest of stages. He has disaster classes in the Champions League final, Europa League final, World Cup, Euros, you name it. And his bad performances have often cost his team so dearly in these big games. When this happens often, on the biggest of stages, that's the image people will have of you. And when people have that image of you in their heads, it's hard to get people to respect you. But considering what he has won, the records he's broken, and the numbers he's put up in his career, would you say that he deserves all the disrespect he gets? Tell us in the comments and don't forget to like the video.